welcome to Crosschoke, a TFL podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zach Anderson. Each week, I'm joined by the one and only Dakota Raitan. We have combined experience in MMA, music, ministry, and food. We hope we add value to your day. Now, enjoy the show.
It's the cross. Jesus went to that cross, and he took the stripes, and he took the nails, and he bore all those things for us. 3 days later, up from the grave, he arose. 3 days later, he rose as King of Kings and as Lord of Lords.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, dude, that intro's so good.
Thank you.
I absolutely love it.
I put in a good couple hours in that at least.
Oh, yeah, for sure. An expertise, bro.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, y'all. We're actually recording at evening tonight.
Yeah.
And we're a little off schedule. This is an extra episode, kind of.
Extra.
Okay, my pop shield is like falling off of my mic. Oh, do you like that sound?
Actually, yes. Sounds like a really fat person just sat down on a leather couch.
It's like, yeah, it's the chair. Kind of sounds like a dog that's really mad at you for taking a snack or something. Dakota, I'm kind of upset.
Why?
I'm kind of restless. I kind of want to kill somebody. You know, like, like jujitsu is that outlet.
I don't want to be in an enclosed room with just the two of us anymore.
Like, jujitsu is my outlet, so I don't have to kill somebody. I kind of simulate killing somebody, and then I sleep well.
That's what video games are for me.
That's a great point. We've been playing Rocket League lately, though.
Oh, we need to go back to some Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, kill some people.
Sounds so messed up.
Yeah, just a good outlet. You know?
Just real healthy.
But I've been kind of restless. You know, I've been cooped up a little bit. We haven't been training much. We've done a couple sessions between our owners. You know, just kind of low key. Well, now everybody knows. But yeah, we've been kind of catching up on a little bit of stuff. I've been watching a lot of jiu-jitsu. I'm clacking. It's coffee, man. So caramel brulee latte at City Brew is really good. And I'm just slopping it over here. Like it's in my jowls. You know, you try to get that flavor out.
Wow. Jowls, huh?
Isn't that what they're like? You know, like a bulldog's jowls.
So anyways, you got some videos or something?
So I've been watching a lot of online tutorials. Keenan Cornelius, I bought his lapel encyclopedia, it's called. It was on sale. And then Andre Galveo's old school techniques for passing a modern guard. And then also got Bernardo Faria's pressure passing thing. And
so has it been helping you, like as in you've been missing jiu-jitsu, that's helping you do that? Or is it making you antsy, like, oh, I really want to go try this stuff out?
It's a double-edged sword here because it's both. So I've been taking notes as I've been watching, you know, trying to like have that be my happy medium between the feel of like trying the move and not. But anyways, the other day we got together and did some rounds and stuff. And I was able to try some of the lapel stuff that Keenan does, and it's pretty cool. It's really good. Just the beginning concepts and stuff, but it's a totally different way to think, and he does a great job teaching. So that's been kind of helping me not want to kill somebody.
I kind of know how you feel because today, well, my internet's been trash since everyone's been home during this quarantine stuff. So we bit the bullet and bought a new router. But today I was just working, trying to edit our company's website, and I had to stand up and like take a breather because I swear I was gonna punch the screen on my computer because like I had worked for 45 minutes and then all of a sudden the internet like stopped and refreshed everything, and I was like,
no way.
And I was like freaking out, and yeah, it was not a fun time. So I just like had to take a breather. That was good too.
Was that scream I heard up the street? Was that you?
Yeah, it was. If you don't know, Zach and I live 2 blocks away from each other.
Yeah. And
Not
the hospital's
long.
right between us. I mean,
Perfect.
who doesn't want to live next to a hospital? Well, I guess right now it's kind of a weird time to live next to a hospital, but
It's interesting seeing the helicopter fly in.
yeah, that's cool. You
Every
feel like
couple
the house
nights.
shake, you know.
Not
What?
really.
You don't feel it when a helicopter's above you, man. It like shakes everything. You don't feel that?
No. You need to get your house checked out by an appraiser or something.
Our foundation. The other day you were in the house. You're like, nice foundation. I'm like, bro, you have no idea. This foundation's horrible.
You're like, this is the only part that you see.
Yeah. Like out the backside, it's just a little rough. Living on the hill of Butte, Montana, that'll do that to you.
This episode of Crosschoke is brought to you by Imperial Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, offering quality training with affordable payment plans and discounts for all military personnel, police officers, nurses, firemen, first responders, and college students. Imperial BJJ is a place to start your jiu-jitsu journey. With classes available from 6 years old to adult in a clean, modern facility, it's a place for the whole family to benefit together. Imperial BJJ, where beginners start every day.
So welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of Crosschoke, a TFL Ministry podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dakota, and I'm joined by the amazing Zach Anderson.
Hey.
This is kind of like episode 11 and a half.
Yeah, 11 and a half. Or 12 if...
11 and 3/4.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say 12 and a half. And I'm like, what? That ain't right.
Got one big episode coming. So, Zach, how has quarantine opened up your schedule recently?
Dude, it's been good. Again, I want to kill somebody. Like most people out there, I'm sure. You know, they just...
That's just reassuring.
No, but it's been good. It's been good. Overall, been trying to keep myself busy with things and that sort of deal. But, Dakota, you and I thought about making another little episode here, which is our only announcement, like, hey, we're here, and you're already listening. But we wanted to make another episode since we know a lot of people might be home or hanging out, whatever. We wanted to make some content, hopefully to brighten your day, to share maybe something positive from this again that you could kind of apply to your life. And that's it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The Unmasking. Do you ever wear masks on Halloween? Were you like that kind of person, or did you do like face paint?
Sometimes face paint. My mom would make me costumes usually.
Oh.
I was Clifford the Big Red Dog one year. We did some lame puns, like we did Smarty Pants.
Oh.
You know, like put
Smarties.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, I did quarterback once. Like did a huge quarter cutout and put it on my back.
Oh, dude, I envisioned like a bunch of quarters like glued to your back. I'm like, man,
I'm just
how many
shirtless.
How many did you go to school with, and how many did you come back with?
So anyways, I wasn't much of a mask person.
Okay.
Were you? Were you
Yeah.
the kid with like the Scream mask that you squeezed blood into?
No, I never got the blood one, but I do have a Scream mask. And then I had like a skeleton mask. I was like Spider-Man. I was a cowboy before. I was real little. I never was really into Halloween.
I am now.
Now that you've grown up.
Yeah, but I was, well, for a while my family was like against Halloween. Like, we don't celebrate that.
Oh, sure.
But then, like, we would dress up for school activities and stuff.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
we would never the other part of it is I grew up in Detroit when I was a kid. And Halloween there is crazy. Like, people will like light houses on fires and stuff. And so we weren't really allowed to go outside and trick or treat because it was like dangerous.
You might catch the coronavirus.
You might get like lit on fire and
I just see some guy across the street with like flaming arrows. Go.
I think of like Molotovs.
Oh. I mean, same. You could be the guy with
you could look
Molotovs.
it up, dude. It gets like scary serious over there.
I bet. Regardless, Dakota, we're in a quarantine style thing, and I don't think this thing's ever going to end. Okay.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it. And, you know, like coronavirus cases are just keep rising more and more, especially as tests get available. You know, people go in and get tested, whatever. But I've had some free time. I know you really haven't, though.
No.
You've been very busy.
I've been busier than normal.
I've been busier in some ways. It's just a different kind of busy. You know, not like my regular scheduled, you know, because like throughout the day, I have so many different weird things between the church, between TFL, between Imperial BJJ, regular life stuff, the Crosschoke podcast. I mean, you know, usually I could schedule my week pretty good, but this has been thrown into a tornado. But we've been spending a lot of time, you and I both, with Journey Church and their live stream, that kind of thing, and trying to get that better than it was, and being able to make that more accessible to people and all of that. But on top of that, there's been like this weird period of time during the day where I have nothing to do. Now, you've been packing, right?
Oh, I've been packing a lot.
Because you're moving back to Detroit.
Yes.
Do you have your Molotovs put together?
They're already packed and ready to go.
They're already all you need to do is light them. They're like that ready.
Pull them out of the case and we're good to go.
But you are a homeowner.
Yeah, well, almost.
Well, pretty close.
We're like 90% there. Yeah, just waiting for a closing date pretty much. So
Seems like such an adult thing.
it really does. I was telling Abby, like, it's weird because we had Nora, and I was 21 when she was born. And I definitely feel like a dad, no doubt about that. But I'm still like the same goofy person I was before she was born. But now that I'm going to be owning a home, it's different. I don't know why or how, but it's like I need to step it up and like
Get your
save money and
get your New Balance shoes.
get my sneakers out and mow the lawn. In my yeah, exactly.
In your denim shorts.
Denim jean shorts and knee-high white socks.
Hey, do you want to come over for a barbecue,
And
boys?
that nasty dad hat.
Yeah.
You just wait. Summer's right around the corner, man.
So you've been doing that. I've been trying to exercise more. You know, I haven't had the evenings with jiu-jitsu. So I've been doing like our jiu-jitsu warm-ups, things like that. We have a tanning bed at my house. I've been hitting the tanning bed.
That's what I'm talking
know?
about. Dude, your house is ready for the quarantine, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, man, let's go downstairs. Like,
You're
I'm
good
fine.
to go.
We got a big old TV downstairs with a treadmill, mats, and a punching bag. Tanning bed.
You're set.
Garage door.
See, my apartment, I don't got nothing. I got a TV.
That's, I
I
mean,
got
what more do you need?
some books. That's about it.
That's true. So we've been playing Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
You know, been playing that.
Yeah, I've been gaming a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's been
No more than usual for me.
Nah, that's true. But on top of that, Dakota, with this extra time, I've been trying to make the most of it to read more, spend time with God, that kind of thing. So it's not just like playtime. You know, I'm like, okay, let's see if we can make the most of this time a little bit. You know, so I've been spending a little bit longer extents of time with God. You know, rather than like a 15-minute chunk and then I'm on the day. You know, a little bit later, which felt like it was working, and it probably was working for that season. It's not like I was like away from God, you know, kind of thing. But with this longer period of time with like no agenda, you know, like no agenda going to God,
Yeah.
I've kind of found that I'm shallow in areas of my life with God where I thought I wasn't. You know, like downtime has made me realize how often I cover up the weak areas of my life with business or the next thing. And like maybe I'm not the only person figuring this out during this time.
Sure.
I don't know, like maybe somebody else is too. But I don't know, can you relate to that at all during this time?
Absolutely.
Or even just in general?
I mean, right now, since I'm busier than ever, like I'm just trying to fit that time into my schedule. But I try to be always in prayer, like no matter what I'm doing. Like if I'm working, I'm gonna try to pray while I work, while I do whatever. Like always be in worship, no matter what I'm doing. That's just a goal I try to set for myself. But right now, because even though I'm working from home, it's like I'm busier than ever. And like even when I'm working, I'm like helping out with Nora or helping her out in the house instead of like just going to work and then coming home and chilling.
Have you been able to be pretty productive with work at home?
Yeah, but the internet's been
Right.
really throwing me off. But other than that, I've been really productive. I've been training a new employee and like getting a bunch of stuff caught up on that we haven't had a chance to. So that's been really healthy.
Do you think sometimes we can cover up our shallowness with God with busyness?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and I feel like that's an American thing, but
Sure.
I don't think it's just exclusive.
I think even outside of Christianity, we can like devalue important parts of our lives, like family time, Like, I know a lot of people that have said since the quarantine, they've been able to prioritize, like, a family meal or multiple meals with their family that they haven't been able to do before.
Yeah. And some, like, fathers maybe who have made work their identity now aren't at work and are finally home. Mm-hmm. That's got to be tough, you know. If
really
you,
cool.
Really cool or tough, but if, like, work is that guy's identity, you know, and for a lot of men, work is their escape, or women, you know, from family junk, you know, healthy or not. And now they're stuck at home, you know, whether it's a relationship with a spouse or your kids or even God in this instance that we're going to kind of talk about more so. I think it's easy to cover up the junk in our lives and not deal with it and just cover it up with busyness and just assume everything's fine. So the question that we want to ask is, do you fear alone time with God? You know, not just Bible reading or devotional time, but true silence, you know, uninterrupted alone time with God. No agenda, vulnerable moments with God where he has complete permission to do whatever he wants to do in you. Do we fear that in general, or like an underlying insecurity in your life? You know, we can sometimes assume we have spiritual depth with God, but you know what they say about assuming, Dakota? It costs time.
Yep, that's exactly what they say.
It costs time, because if you assume something is the way it should be, or if you assume something is correct in some way and you find out it isn't, then you have to backtrack and correct that thing or make it right, or spend time re-clarifying, you know, whether you have an assumption on somebody else or an assumption in your own life. You know, because, like, let's say you assume your life is in a healthy position with God.
Okay.
And you live that way for maybe a month or even years. And then somewhere down the road, let's take this coronavirus, for example.
Sure.
And all of a sudden you have all this downtime and alone time with the voices in your head. And you realize, man, I've been living my life thinking I'm fine and covering it up with whatever, whether consciously or not, and come to find out that your life isn't where it could have been if you would have continued to be vulnerable with God when you were.
Yeah.
And we kind of get to a contentment which isn't healthy, and then we live that way for so long. And that's why God, like we talked about suffering last week, sometimes God will allow something really horrible to happen to you, so you're like waking up to the reality that you're not where you should be in your walk with him.
Right.
All because I feel that we really can fear alone time with God. So, with this whole idea in here, when the curtain is pulled back, how much of your life is God allowed into? When the storms come and the tests of faith come your way, are you rooted well enough to thrive? So that's going to be kind of the kicker off of our discussion. And where we go.
Well, I think being alone, period, is devastating for a lot of people. Like, they can't fathom that aloneness. For instance, when I was growing up, every time I went to sleep, I had to have music playing, had to have headphones in. I could not fall asleep knowing that it was silent all around me. I couldn't handle it. And so I had to have like a fan going or music playing or something to distract me, because I literally couldn't handle it. Now, God's definitely worked through that and given me a sense of security, knowing that I'm never alone because he's there. But that was something that I had to work through. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that have that underlying fear of just being alone in general.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, because filling stuff with sound and you're never alone with yourself or in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be that way, but I found myself not liking it because I knew I was covering something up. You know, not that I still don't cover stuff up,
Sure.
You know, but in my life, I know, like, there was a time when I didn't want to hear what God had to say. So I would just fill my time with something else to where I knew I wouldn't necessarily hear God completely, but only like what I wanted to. And yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up, because our nearness to God is the key to success, is the grasping of life and life to the fullest. You know, it's living the life that he died for us to live. You know, like that's found in this nearness or in this relationship with God. Like, our relationship with God is everything. Now, I found in my life, I have a couple of coaches in my life, like ministerial coaches, not just BJJ.
Sure.
But like in ministry or in life, like I have like what I would consider a life coach, and then more of like a ministerial coach. And both of them I met with in this last week. And one of them has me going through the 5-fold method of what TFL is, proclaim, invest, plant, pre-source, pray.
Resource.
Pre-source. Proclaim, invest, plant, resource, and pray. So if you want to go back and listen to that episode to understand what we're talking about, what is a cross choke, we talked about TFL and all that stuff. But anyhow, one of these mentors I'm going through that MOU with, and he has me going through the 5-fold method of TFL and really having me be introspective on them and applying them to my own life.
There you go.
So I am truly living out what I'm preaching, but I'm also, it's going both ways. So I'm making sense of it in my own life and kind of reevaluating them. So anyhow, I've been going through Proclaim. That was like our homework last time. And then I'll go through Invest or whatever, and we'll meet and talk about it. What I ask myself is, what am I proclaiming? What is my life proclaiming? Not what is TFL proclaiming, but what am I saying with my own life? And what I wrote down after thinking about it, praying through it, looking through things, I'm like, okay, what's a simple way to say what I want to say? But what I want my life to proclaim is that Jesus is worthy to receive the reward of his suffering. So I know it's kind of long and deep, not really long, but like Jesus is worthy to receive the reward of his suffering. Now, what is that reward? And that's what him and I talked about. And I found through this discussion just last week, that I tend to lean more towards what I could do for God for him to receive glory. Like what can I do for God,
Oh.
But that's not where God is glorified.
Yeah.
Of course we do things for God. We live for him. We give him our lives, that kind of thing. But we do that through a relationship. A relationship with God is his reward, because it's like a very personal and loving relationship. The reason why we are made is to be in relation to God. That was from the very beginning. And then sin entered the world, the separation came. The entire arc of the Bible is God wanting a relationship with his people.
Yeah.
Now, with that in mind, why would we fear that relationship with God?
Right. So here's kind of piggybacking off what we just spoke about a little bit too. I feel like a key component in relationships can be awkwardness. Like when you're first meeting someone, right? It's all lovey-dovey, honeymoon style. But then after a couple of years of marriage, things start to get awkward again. Because it's kind of awkward at the beginning, and then you get in the honeymoon, awkward again. So I had one pastor tell me, speaking along with church services and outreaches and stuff, he says that God works specifically in awkwardness, through and in awkwardness. Whenever there's an awkward moment, don't shy away from it. Just embrace it and let God use it. And so I think a lot of times when we're alone, it's that awkwardness, where we don't want that quietness. We don't want to focus on what's wrong. Just like in a relationship, we don't want to focus on the negative stuff to make it better. We just want to play music and go along with it.
Yeah, Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And embracing the awkwardness.
Yeah.
God is so big, and sometimes it's frustrating because we don't understand him. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't embrace that or go through the struggle to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
More. Because say with you and your wife, if you don't understand something, it's, I'm not in a relationship, but I know I've been in a few that haven't been good either, but it's easy to gloss over something. And just keep
exactly.
Going, rather than
let's just forget about that. And
yeah. And
instead of let's slow down and take a moment to look at what's really going on and evaluate it.
I've read a lot of books though.
Dr. Zach Anderson.
So I'm more book smart on relationship stuff, and with ministry, I'm more practical.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of ministers who are book smart with ministry and not practical, or street smart with ministry. I feel like I'm more of the street smart way. Not that I have anything figured out by any means.
Is there a third category of just neither? That's where I feel like I am.
Book smart. Not book smart, not street smart.
Exactly.
Just Dakota.
No, just kidding.
In a relationship, the nearness and vulnerability and openness with whoever you're with, whether it be romantic or a friend or some relationship that you want to get better, it demands vulnerability. I mean, there's so much. We could talk about that for a long time. But 100% and 100%. You know, a lot of times I think we think of relationships as being like 50-50, but instead it's 101 and 101.
Exactly.
And that's because when we're now putting this towards our relationship with God,
Sure.
God is giving 150%. I mean, just so much, right?
And I think that's what we need to focus on during this time of quarantine. Like, let's slow down. Let's take a step and not just gloss over everything with busyness, with all the junk going on that we normally do in our daily routine. But let's slow down and evaluate what's actually going on in our lives. Yeah.
And if you aren't used to doing that, now's a great time to start.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know where to start, we could talk about that too.
Yeah.
But I think we've spent time on that on previous podcasts about like where to start in your relationship with God. But
Yeah.
be open to Him. You know, read your Bible, ask friends, be around other people. Right now, digitally, you know, that kind of
Right.
thing. So I wanted to read this verse talking about when God is correcting us. You know, because sometimes we could fear that. You know, the fact that God is going to point out the crap in your life, which He wants to.
What did you just say?
Crap. Alex will appreciate that. But Hebrews 12, 10 through 13. For our earthly fathers disciplined us for a few years, doing the best they knew how, but God's discipline is always good for us, so that we might share in His holiness. No discipline is enjoyable while it's happening. It's painful. But afterward, there will be a peaceful harvest of right living for those who are trained in this way. So take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. Mark out a straight path for your feet so those who are weak and lame will not fall and instead become strong. What's the main point of this bad boy right here?
What I mainly remember is weak knees.
Isn't there like, did she make you weak at the knees? And that's supposed to be like butterflies, but like, oh, is there a saying like that? You're a dad, you should know.
I have no idea.
Dang, where's Neil? Neil's been busting out some Neil's one of our friends who's like our kind of sound technician. I don't know. He's like, he does so much for Journey Church, but he's been busting out these old sayings. Bees knees? You got the bee's knees? Is that it? I don't know. Anyways.
Now you sound old.
Hey, you ever heard that saying?
What was it, Meryl? I can't remember.
Oh, Gertrude. Bring it back up, would you? But anyhow, that God's desire for you is this peaceful harvest of righteousness in your life. He sees this beautiful person, right? Whether it's, I mean, no matter where you are, whether you know God or not, God sees what you can be. He also sees where you are. He sees where you've been, and He loves you no matter where you were in that spectrum, your past or where you're going or who you are today. In that idea is He has the right idea for your life, just like you do for Nora. Your interest and your investment in her and your ability to father her is all for her best interest. You know, allowing her to make her own decisions when she needs to, but she's kind of a baby right now, so you got to love her and guide her. But like, that's how God treats us, right? Whether we're a baby in our faith or an adolescent or an adult.
But He doesn't see us as that baby, is the thing.
Yes.
I mean, He does, but He doesn't.
What does He see us as?
Well, He sees that end goal. Like, this is my child. And, like, I see the amazing things that they're going to do and be, and I see them at their best capacity.
And in order to get to that best capacity, sometimes you need discipline. Just like the other day when I was at your house and Nora kept wanting to pull that sticker off.
Dude, she loves touching the heater. That's the main issue. Like, I could care less about the sticker, but it's like she'll get burned if she touches that. So we have to give her a little smack on the hand and say, no.
I watched Dakota about 6 or 7 times grab his little baby's wrist and just give it a little slap. And then Nora would go right back to the same exact activity.
You know what? On that 8th time, she didn't go back to the heater.
And that's what God wants to do with us, man, right? We keep wanting to go to the heater, and then he gives a little slap. And then, nope, we'd immediately turn back towards it. Until finally, right, one of these times Nora will probably burn herself on it. Hopefully not. But
Probably. That's how you learn.
But then learn it that way. I was talking with a friend of mine saying, why do I got to learn stuff the hard way every time?
That's the only way, man.
Well, why can't I learn from somebody else's mistakes? You know what I'm saying?
Well, if it's bad enough, you usually do, you know.
I don't know, man. Like, I really want to say I can, you know, but again, it doesn't mean as much to me unless I screw up the same way. Yeah. And then I realize it. But like, why can't we listen to people who have done it and are like, hey, don't do this, watch out, you know? And they're like, you messed up. I won't. Like, why can't we? What's wrong with that?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways. Flashlight to our soul. That's, I think, sometimes.
Sounds like a nice pop song.
I was going to try to think of something to sing, but I have nothing.
Go right ahead, man.
No, we're good. I'll spare everyone. Flashlight to our soul, but from a loving Father who sees the end result. And that's it, man. Like, God knows. So don't be afraid to let him in. You know, don't be afraid to have that awkwardness with him. It's okay. It's of course it's this big God who created everything, and there's sin and there's hell and there's heaven, but he's not that all the time, although he is. But we can't forget that he's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Yeah. He loves you. He cares.
Father.
Yeah, and we don't see him in that light all the time because I think we fear alone time with God because, again, we're thinking of the wrong God.
Yeah. We don't know him because it's just an endless loop.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know him because we're afraid. We're afraid because we don't know him.
Yeah. Wow. Right. Put that on a shirt. Yeah, and I think here's one other aspect of this from my own life is sometimes I don't necessarily fear alone time with God, but I think I don't need it because I've already made it so far and made it through things that I could just coast and keep picking at God as if he were like a little cherry tree, you know, all the while he has
and I think,
something else for me.
I think you can is the problem.
Yeah?
Like, you will still go to heaven and you'll die a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is you won't enjoy your time on earth like you should.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you won't enjoy it worshiping God and having that personal relationship.
Right.
You know?
So there is a level of that. I think it's intentionality. You know, intentionality and purpose-driven life. That's another book. But, you know, because I think there's the negative side of that would be that I'm not focusing on God enough to grow in my relationship rather than maintaining it.
Yeah.
You know, but there is that aspect of not every day is going to be a mountaintop experience with God.
Sure.
But yet I still need to make sure that I'm allowing him to shine that flashlight deep into my heart every moment of every day rather than gloss it over. Because I think if there's a period of time with you just being a cherry picker, that you will get calloused and ignore what God might have in store for you if you were to actually stop.
Yeah.
So I think those reset moments in our walk with God, you know, should be almost every day, you know, rather than, you know, I don't know. I don't want to waste time with my relationship with God. You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes, here's one example. Here's a rant. We'll have to reel it back after this one. Is I think we waste a lot of time asking God stupid questions. For example, okay, if you're asking God this, I'm sorry. But what does Randy always say? Put your toes in the aisle, I'm going to stomp on them. God, what is your will for my life? Okay, it's a great question, but if you ask it every day for years, that's a waste of time. Now, I understand if you want to know specifics.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. Like, if you are always circling these little questions that are holding you back from moving forward in your walk with God, that's counterproductive. Because want to know God's will for your life? Read the Bible. Okay, there you go. Make disciples. Love God, love people. I mean, there you go. That's your you know, trust God, do good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he will show you which path to take. that's an everyday thing. You know what I mean? Keep going forward. If you're a laundry mat person who's working there day in, day night, honor God, love people there. Like, make disciples, you know, share. So anyways, I believe that in our walk with God, in our relationship with God, that's just one example. But I think we could waste a lot of time circling these things and never moving forward in our relationship with God. That was for free.
I mean, it cost me a couple minutes, but
You'll never get those minutes back.
Come on, got me a Marlin. Yeah.
From Mark Batterson, there's a daily devotional that he'll email you if you sign up for. I don't even know how I get it. All of a sudden, I just saw it in my inbox and my email. I check my email like twice
I gave
a
him
week.
your email.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine, Mark. I'm just kidding. I've never met him. I have a couple of his books, though. He's a great artist. He's a great word artist.
That was amazing.
This is from one yesterday, actually. He was talking about faith and how we need to, in order to learn some things, we need to unlearn other things. And so he says this: faith is unlearning the senseless worries and misguided beliefs that keep us captive. It is far more complex than simply modifying behavior. Faith is rewiring the human brain. That is what we do when we study Scripture. We are literally upgrading our minds by downloading the mind of Christ. And he was talking about Romans 12:2, which says, don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Unlearning to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is the steady thing that I'm trying to shoot for here in the walk where we're cherry picking. Again, the cherries are still good, but I can't live off of the God but that's behind me and just keep coasting. And that's, I think, the main idea. Of course, we can maintain.
You can't keep eating baby food.
You ever had baby food?
So here's a great example. Nora's about done drinking formula. She's almost a year. She's almost 11 months. So we're trying to give her more and more adult food, you know? And so yesterday we gave her some pasta. And she did not like pasta. I love pasta. But we gave her a banana and she loved the banana. But banana is like baby food, man. It's sweet, easy to chew. Pasta's a little more mature. So it's kind of like that. Like, we need the more mature food if we're going to keep growing and need more nutrients and stuff. We can't just keep eating bananas. Here's a fun fact about bananas. You know what they use to kill people on death row, right?
It's a bunch of potassium. Yeah.
So you can eat enough bananas to kill yourself. But not really. But you can. But you can't.
I bet I could do the same thing with donuts.
You'd probably be easier. It's like 500 bananas.
That they're injecting into you, like the equivalent of?
Yeah. But that would be in one sitting. It's just physically impossible to eat 500 bananas in one sitting. So.
Did you ever watch Rob and Big?
Oh yeah, I've seen some episodes.
Yeah, Rob Dyrdek and I don't know, Big Black. I don't know.
Big Black.
I don't know.
Say last episode.
Big. Oh, what did we say? I forget now.
Big Black Car.
I don't remember either. Man, we have a great memory.
Let us know. We can't remember.
I can't remember. It'll come to me eventually. Anyways, they had an episode where they were just trying to break a bunch of Guinness World Records.
Okay. And
one of them was eating however many bananas in 10 minutes. And the record is 3. You can't physically eat more than 3 bananas at a time.
Wow.
Something like that. And so Big, he was like, oh, I could beat that. No problem. He could, I think he got 4 or something. Not a bunch more. He barely broke it, but he did. So
wow.
That's kind of another little thing we could reel back in here.
We should beat a Guinness World Record.
There's got to be something out there we could do good. I mean,
toothpicks in the beard.
All right.
Could do that one.
How many hairs can I pluck out of your head in a minute, one at a time?
Ouch. I would not like that.
Just tweezers. Some random thing. I would be thinking about it.
I can't get a haircut right now because the barber shop is closed.
I'll do it for you. You can get a haircut like mine.
I'd rather die. No, just kidding.
Just slap a 1 on there, man. Dakota, what do we do now? In the grand scheme of things with our relationship with the Lord.
We pinvest. We pre-source.
We pray.
We do pray. I mean, I think that's your answer right there. Right now, in the terms of what we've been speaking about, I think we just need to realign. Go to the chiropractor spiritually.
I went there today.
If you believe in that. Oh, is he still open?
Uh-huh.
Good for him.
A little awkward, but it was good.
Like wore gloves and stuff?
No, he was fine. He was like, how you doing? Give me a big slap on the mouth. No, I'm just kidding. It took forever, though, because he was the only one there, like his little nurses or whatever you call chiropractor helpers. They felt.
I don't think they're nurses.
I know, whatever. I mean, helpers. What do you call them? I don't know. Assistants? There we go. That's better. So his assistants weren't in, and they're usually the ones like get you in the room, slap those little electric pads on you, and give you a hot blanket or something. And then
this sounds really weird and torturous. My chiropractor is not like that.
Yeah, I've heard there's chiropractors are so different depending upon which one you go to.
Also, if your chiropractor has nurses around, I would be kind of concerned.
Anyways, I went there today, and yeah, he didn't have any helpers, so it took a long time, but it was still good.
So we need to do that spiritually. Put the electro pads on, get the heat blanket on, and just focus.
Yes. Open up to the Lord. You know, as we said before, I wanted to read Psalm 139, 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you and lead me down the path of everlasting life. If we could summarize everything that we're trying to say, it's in those verses. Just have an open mind. God, I'm yours. Search my heart. You have complete permission to do whatever you want to do in me. So spend time with him. Record your thoughts and prayers in a journal. I do that a ton. I need to write down all the time. And, know that God wants and has what's best for you.
And his name is John C.
Downfield 23-5 by Levi Parker and John Keith. So Levi Parker just dropped this album last week, and it is fire. He's really not super big. He's a rapper. John Keith's up there. I mean, he's the man. He's been popping out like a record every 3 months, pretty much, and tons of features. So John Keith's featured on this song. It's super dope, super hype. It has some really like dirty vocals. Like, it's intense. So anyways, use this song as your walkout song. It will get the crowd hype as all get out. The chorus, Zach pointed out, is kind of weird. Has a lot of heavy breathing that I didn't realize. But his flow is dope and the beat is killer.
Y'all must think I'm scared. It don't take a lot to push. You ain't got a double dare. I be eating at the table with my enemies right there. John, they don't like your style. Ask me if I care. Boy, I been in that car, no sweater. I'm like, wine with time, just keep better. I'm like dynamite when I get fitter. Oh, I'm cheesing, I don't need no cheddar. Call me Bruce Lee, hockey gang. Put some respect on my name. Yeah, I'm Godson, on no shame. You can't rock me, I feel like Dwayne.
That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Live streaming, I'm sure you've seen a lot of it in Zoom. I've never heard of Zoom prior to this quarantine stuff.
I have.
I mean,
but it was years ago.
Really? Is it that old?
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm so like used to the Apple ecosystem. Or
FaceTime.
Like FaceTime and Skype. Like that's... I've heard like GoToMeeting.com. That was kind of lame.
I haven't heard of that one.
But yeah, like I heard of Zoom prior, when we were talking about all this stuff, what we're going to do as a church. And I've heard of it every day and since. And I see it all over. So anyways, if you're on social media at all, I'm sure you've seen some form of business or church or somebody trying to reach out and do things online. Mm-hmm. Now, Journey Church, church that we're really associated with, has services on Sunday. Wanted to make that available to you if you don't have a church to join us on our stream. You're more than welcome to. Sundays at 10:45 is when service starts, but also we have Easter coming up on April 12th. That is going to be a big day for the church, a big day for churches everywhere. Kind of a chance for everybody just to look at who Jesus is, what he's done, and a chance to preach the gospel. So on YouTube and Facebook, Journey Church Butte is going to be streaming starting at 10:30. Wanted to make sure that you were invited.
The sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Jesus Christ!
All right, our verse of the week stems from our walkout song of the week, actually. The song's titled 23:5, which is from Psalms 23:5, that says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." I think that's a great scripture for this time, too. I mean, God has a table set up for us. He knows what's going on, and he's prepared to, like, keep us safe and keep us in communication and what's the word I'm looking for? Relationship with him
There you go.
during this time. Yeah, no matter, I mean, COVID-19's right there at the table, but you are there eating with the Lord. I could preach right now. I'll go off.
When you look into it,
you gotta look into it.
Look into it. When you look into it.
Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. So again, book smart over here, Dakota.
You read so many books.
Yeah.
I do not read a lot of books.
A
lot of comic books I read.
Which I always forget about you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I do though. 'Cause, like, was it today?
You forget about me?
No, I always forget that about you.
That's what you meant to say.
Oh, did I say that I forget about you?
Feel so loved.
Sorry, forget that you read comic books. That's cool though.
Thanks, man.
But anyhow, yeah, I do read a lot of books. And I just, like, that helps me understand and try to be smarter and articulate my words better. And just know, I just want to know more. Like, that's my desire, is to just be a good student of life, basically. But anyways, Sacred Marriage by Gary Thomas. He's basically talking about, like, what if God designed marriage to make us holy more than make us happy? It's a really, really interesting topic, and it's a really easy read. But, this whole idea, like, that marriage is designed to help you know God better. That's kind of his main point of this book. And to trust in him more, to love him more intimately. And that's what you and your partner are supposed to do with one another, is to help each other grow in the Lord. And that's kind of the whole idea behind this book. But he talks,
good.
I mean, everything about it. So, yeah, Sacred Marriage, Gary Thomas.
I'm surprised it wasn't a Mark Batterson book.
I've been hitting Mark Batterson pretty hard.
Oh,
so.
okay.
I did look at one, Draw the Circle. It's another good one. In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. It's another really good one.
Oh, The Circle? I saw that on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix.
Are you serious? What have you been doing during the quarantine?
Oh,
no, I'm
just
kidding.
Want to restart the podcast right now. I've been tanning. I've been watching jiu-jitsu videos.
My tea's done.
Oh, nice. I haven't heard that joke in a while.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back. That's because you haven't been laughing like that anymore. You've been laughing like,
You reenact my laugh well. Sounds like an old Santa Claus truck driver.
Sounds like a hurt penguin.
You know, like the old Batman penguin? Who's that? Who is that?
Danny
actor?
DeVito.
Danny DeVito, yeah. He's a creepy penguin in that movie.
Dude, he's
super
like
weird.
Sloppy.
Yeah. And like
that was perfect.
And then he bleeds black. Like,
yeah, that's
super weird.
Gross.
As a kid, when you watch that, like that,
scary.
You don't get rid of that image.
Nope.
Like you're gonna
I
die
remember
with
him
that.
eating the fish.
Yeah, just, the little minnows or whatever, like the little scallop thing. Anyways, go. That's your movie of the week.
Movie of the week.
We should start implementing that.
I want you to locate all the times that God speaks to you through this movie.
How can you Jesus juke people? You ever told you about Jesus juking? Some ministers do it so well they don't even know they do it. But I can't. Once you have it in your mind, they'll be telling an illustration or something, and out of left field, they'll just be like, "And that's what Jesus does." I try not to be that guy, but
I'm that guy.
Talk about something totally irrelevant and be able just to,
that's me.
Hit a Jesus juke and be like, now, like, "Hey man, do you know where my keys are? The only keys you need to be concerned with are the keys to heaven." Like, okay, that's the guy that's too saved.
Yeah. John Kreese.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah, that's how you say it, right?
I think Christ.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain like that, Zach.
Anyways, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully this podcast said something to you today.
Zach's been itching to do a bonus episode since he wants to go crazy and punch a wall.
No, punch a person.
Oh, yeah, punch a person. Make it very clear.
Yeah. Kill someone.
So, yeah, let this episode resonate with you and let it impact you these next couple weeks. Because we may be quarantined for much longer than we think. And we may need to turn this into just a permanent lifestyle, at least for just a few months. So, but don't let this time of reevaluation and time of seeking after God just be for these few weeks. Let it continue in you. Like, just take this time to set good habits, and so that you can continue to grow in God when we're back to normal. Whenever that is.
And we'll see you next time.
Next time. Thank you so much for listening to Season 2 of Crosschoked. It was a blast creating this episode, and we hope you enjoyed listening. Submit any fun questions, inquisitive comments, serious requests, or hilarious stories to tflministries.com/podcast. Feel free to follow Zach at Ando Butte and myself at South Friday. Have an amazing day and join us next time on Crosschoked. I was Clifford the Big Red Nose. What? Big Red Nose. Wow. Amen.